Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University on the Dash Tower for Pocket Playthrough video series where we play a few rounds of the game.
In this video, we'll show you Dragonbond Lords of Vaala, game designed by Jack Caesar and Alessio Cavatore and published by Draco Studios and Riverhorse. We are using a prototype copy of the game, and so the rules and components may not be final.
Let's do it!
Hi everyone, and here we are for our Pocket playthrough, and we've got the game set up as it would be at the start of the game. So we're going to play through the first round of the game here and show you how it works. So this is a light, tactical, asymmetrical war game with action programming. And the game always plays 4 sides, 4 teams, 4 armies, 2 of which are dragons, and 2 of which are generals. So because we're playing at 2 players here, we have 2 of them set up with the automatons.
Oh, these ones? And
2 of them set up for ourselves. So I am playing as Ilaria, the orange general player. So this is my mini here, and these are my units out on the board.
And I'm the Magnifics, the dragon.
Yes, you'll be this dragon here. And you don't command units, so the generals command land armies, and they will swarm over the map with their land armies, while the dragons fly over the top and sort of fight separately. So we play very different sorts of games. We also have Fulgen here, that is this dragon here, which is controlled by the game, and Tiberia is this general here, with these units controlled by the game.
Which is very cool. So it's not just, 1 versus 1 or competitive, but as you see later, we can form alliance between the general and the dragon. That's why it's called Dragonbond.
That's why it's called Dragonbond, yes. So the way you win this game is by getting 10 power. So these tokens here on the board are power, and you would gain them into your little power board, and you can spend them for an effect, but they still count towards your final score. And it's the first player to get 10 power wins. But if you become dragon bonded, which is effectively, the general teams up with a dragon, rides the dragon into battle, they become together and they become more powerful.
Cool. It's like in the cover of the game box as well.
Yes, indeed. When that happens, each of them gets an additional power, and together they now need 15 power between them instead of 10 individually to win the game. But they will win or lose together.
Question is, are you going to bond with me, Tarrant, as General Tarrant?
We shall see. We'll see what makes the most strategic sense.
Oh, okay then. Fair enough.
Yes. Also out on the board you can see some neutral units. These just represent the lands that we don't control, something for us to fight in order to get this power. So each of us has a hand of action cards. And we each start with 6. Stella has 6, which are her own cards. I only have 5 of my own cards, but there's also 1 card representing each region on the board. And because I start controlling the Ilaria region, I get the Ilaria card. And as I spread my influence, I'll be able to get more of these region cards and have a bigger hand. The automaton players, they don't use these region cards, so they just have these decks here. And we're going to be programming our actions. We're of course going to be looking at our cards and working out what makes most sense. We'll be drawing the automaton cards at random. The last thing, which we haven't spoken about yet, is the Vaala cards. So these are some extra powers. They're not part of our actions, but they are cards that we can gain and cards that have some special abilities on them. So
yeah, we can be unlocked by later on.
So we as the human players have them. The automaton players do not have them. So with that, I have the first player marker, the priority. I'm going to be the first one to program in this round, and we're going to start putting our programming deck together. First thing that's going to happen is an event. So usually what these events do is they bring neutral units or extra power out on the board for us to go and hunt for. All right, then I shall pick one of my cards and place it on the stack. Then the 2 auto players randomly choose the top, so we shuffled these before we began. And now it's Stella's turn.
So I will put it first down. And as a game that reminds me of this mechanic is called Express, where you program. It's a lot lighter, of course,
Yes.
but I do enjoy this programming card. Could kind of like go sideways, not as planned, but that makes it interesting.
Yes. Okay, and then I go again. You can see I'm playing my region card rather than one of my cards, one of my personal cards. Then we go again, and this will just be us playing cards in a pile. So we're going to skip ahead to the end of this phase. Okay, so now it passes back to me, and I do have 2 cards left, but I no longer wish to take any of them. So I'm going to pass. And when someone passes, it ends the round. So we take the next event card. Each round will start and end with an event. And then the first player token, it comes to me, but then I have to give it to another real player, which means you. You're the
I'm
only one.
real, not fake.
Yes. Usually first player just goes to whoever passed first, but I already held it and I'm not allowed to have it 2 rounds in a row. Hence I have to give it away to Stella. So that's going to allow you to go first next time, and if there's any ambiguity on any of the automated actions, you're the one who gets to resolve it.
Okay.
Right. So now we flip this over and we start resolving top to bottom.
What?
So first we have the event, which is the Year of Plenty. Place 2 power tokens in the Firewoods, which is here. And
Wow.
place 2 in the Nahu Woods, which is here.
Rich of powers there.
Yes, so these 2 regions are going to be very powerful. They're also going to be the focus. So the automated players have a focus, and that focus is the region with the most power. So they're going to head to there automatically. And that's the event done. Okay, now it is my turn, and I have played Arcane Maneuver. And so this gives me a maneuver action and then a Vaala action. So I can move up to 4 of my units to adjacent, empty, or friendly regions.
And each character has got slightly different power on the same icon.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is split these slightly. I'm going to move my my cavalry in here and move a swordsman over here because I want to get a spread. I'm spreading myself a little bit thin at the moment, but you'll see with my next action, this will hopefully let me build up a lot of units. Then I get to draw a Vaala card into my hand for the Vaala icon here.
So you resolve both icons, if you can.
Yes, so if you see this Vaala card here, I need 2 power on my power track before I can play this card. So hopefully we'll be able to do that later in the round. Okay, then I get this card back. And we go to Fulgen, and Fulgen's action is to hoard. Fulgen, which is this dragon here. So if you see here, this is the hoard action for Fulgen, is to move Fulgen 1 region towards focus. So the focus is one of these 2 regions, and in this case it's the closer to Fulgen, so it's the Firewoods. And then collect 1 power from that region, or 2 if it's empty. So we'll move into this region. There, it's certainly not empty. I have a unit there, and the neutral unit is there as well. So from that, Fulgen collects 1 power, because it's not empty. Places it there, so this automaton is beating us at the moment.
No, they're winning. We'll get there. Come on, bond. Somebody bond with me.
Okay. Next, it's Tyveria, and Tyveria is going to do an assault. And so the assaults for the automated ones, they add some units, they move, and they attack. So we're going to create 1 unit in the General's region. That is the trade road over here. Then we move the General and all but 1 of these units from each region adjacent to the battlefield into the battlefield. And what is the battlefield? It is the region that is closest to the focus that is adjacent to the General. So the General cannot get to the focus, but can get to the upper Primalian range here. So that's going to be the battlefield. So the General moves into the battlefield, takes 3 units along. Just going to pop them in a stack there. And now initiates combat.
There's only 1 enemy here.
Yes.
So combating the neutral player.
Yes, so
Or the game. Yeah.
Yes, so we look at the combat value first. There are 3 units and they are each of a different type. So that means the general's combat value here is 5. Because the general is also a unit. So there's 1 per unit, 1 for the general and 3 for the small ones. And then 1 extra one for a balanced force, which is 1 of each, at least 1 of each type of unit. So the next step is that the general is going to roll 1 die per unit. You'll see these dice here, these ones are a little bit faint, of course these are prototype components, but they will have 1 or 2 marks or a critical hit. And here Tiberia's rolled 3...
Or blank.
Or blank. So Tiberia has rolled 3 hits here, one of which is critical.
Critical.
So the critical hit is resolved first and immediately kills this unit. At this point, the defending force would have the chance to counterattack, but there is no defending force anymore. The critical hit got rid of it. And so that is the end of the assault. That is successful. The general doesn't get to pick up the power or anything like that. The general just removed the neutral units from that space. So this action is done.
My go now.
Your go now.
Magnivax. So I choose a Wrath. So that means I may move to an adjacent region, then initiate combat in my region. So I would like to go to the area which is the most beneficial for me, and which is this one.
Yes.
So I move, and again I will initiate combat in this region.
Yes, so it's going to be very similar here against one target, but this time it's a dragon attacking. And there's only ever 1 dragon, so the way you determine your combat value is based on your wounds track.
Yeah, so at the moment I'm not damaged, so I've rolled the maximum number of dice, which is 4.
Yes.
Let's do it, come on! Critical! Critical and 2 non-critical.
So once
That's
again,
enough.
the critical gets rid of this one.
Oh, one more thing. I defeated a unit. I shall put 1 in here.
Oh yes, that is right, sorry. So one of the ways that the dragons can gain points is by defeating units. And so when you fill up every 3 units that get defeated, you'll get a power.
I was just excited that I kill it straight away. There you go.
Yes. And that's the end of the combat. There's no one left to counterattack.
That's correct. And that's my card back.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now it's my turn. This was the region card that I played because I controlled Alleria at the start of the round. And even if I didn't control Alleria anymore, I'd still get to resolve it, although it's definitely stronger if I do control. So I get to do these 3 effects,
Very good.
which are actually printed on the board here. So first I can make an upgrade. So these are the 6 upgrade cards here. There are 12 in all and they change out from round to round. And I get to pick one of them. So I'm going to take the Turian Warden. This is a cavalry upgrade. I'm going to place it on my cavalry upgrade track here. And from this point forward, my cavalry units are allowed to enter a defensive combat from an adjacent region.
Ooh.
So if I have a horse here and I get attacked in here, I can bring that horse in to give myself some extra power in that combat. The next step is reinforce. So general in control of this region places a unit in that region and any adjacent regions that they control. So I control any region where I have units. And the way it will work, only I can control, because dragons never control areas. They fly above them. So I control Alleria. I'm going to put cavalry in there. I control these Wilderlands over here, and likewise over here in the Firewoods. So I'm adding all cavalry on the board because that is my upgraded unit, and that gives me a bit of flexibility in defense here.
Wow, you're getting stronger and stronger there, Tarrant. Would you like to bond with me? That's not how it works.
We shall see. We shall see. And then the third step here is fortify. So there is currently no city in Alleria, so I take a city token and I place it here. And the city gives me extra defense, once again, if I'm being attacked in this region, And it also cities have ships in them, and I'm going to be able to now not just move adjacent over land from this area, but I can move to anywhere that I can reach by sea, which is basically this whole left half of the board. But I haven't attacked anybody yet, so I'm just building. I'm waiting
Until somebody attack you. Ha.
So this card, it doesn't strictly come back to my hand, because at the end of the round it's going to go to whoever controls Elyria. So I'm just going to put it with the other region cards in a little deck off to the side, and we'll resolve that at the end of the round. So now it's time for Fulgen's turn, and Fulgen's action is Wrath. So this is going to be an attack. First step is move one region towards the focus, and then initiate combat.
I think just missing icons for the prototype one there.
Yes. So the focus at present is no longer the Firewoods. There's only 2 power there now. The focus is down here with you.
Oh no!
In the Nahewoods. So this is going to be a dragon on dragon sky battle here.
Yep. Fighting in the sky.
Yes.
There's fire breathing everywhere, trying to knock each other down.
Yes. Combat is initiated by Fulgen with 4 dice. So we're going to roll the 4 dice first. And that is 4 hits with no criticals.
Mm-hmm. So I get a chance to reply back.
Yes.
To fight back.
Yeah, you've got 2 options. You can either counterattack, in which case you would roll your 4 dice, and you would both apply the hits to each other. Or you can retreat. None of these are critical, so you can retreat before any of those hits are applied. And you only have 4 wounds, so you are probably in a position where you might want to retreat.
I think so too, because what happens if I get 4 damages, this all filled up, and then I need to waste the next turn, rather than Water Flame, to actually heal 2 of my damage.
Yes.
So I think I will retreat. I will probably gonna retreat that way. It's still connected.
Yep.
So I'll retreat to this area.
To Nahawk. So at least you've retreated to an area where there's some power. So this might work okay.
I know. Hopefully.
Okay. So to finish this action, we initiated combat. If there hadn't been combat, he would have just picked up power, but there was a combat. So Fulgen will be trying to pick up power next time around. But this is still going to be the focus for both of these players. So next we have Arcane Assault for Tyveria. So Tyveria is assaulting again. So we create a unit in the General's region, which is the upper Primalian range over here. So there's now 4 units in there. Then move the General and all but one of those units to the battlefield. So the battlefield is the region closest to the focus that the General can go to. And that could be either the Firewoods or South Tyveria. Now, because although there's a point here, they're not considered adjacent. The choice is yours, because you have the
first player token.
First player token.
Yeah. So I'll move it to the left.
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, so comes over here, brings all but one of these units, and still has a balanced force.
Mm-hmm.
But has crossed the mountains, so that's important for battle because the mountains provide some natural defense, as we'll see in a second. So now we're going to initiate combat here. There are my units, there's also the neutral units, and the General's going to attack me. The General can attack both of us in sequence, but going to start with me.
Sorry, Tarrant.
And that's all right.
You haven't confirmed that you would like to bond with me, so just in case, this is why. No, I'm kidding.
But I have been planning for this. I've got my horse who can come in to defend, and I'm going to do that.
Oh.
So remember, that is the upgrade here. Turian Warden in a region adjacent to defensive combat can move before attack is rolled. And so I've got 1 extra defense because of this. So we're going to start by rolling 5 dice. I'll let you do the honors there because it's the General, 3 other units, and a balanced force bonus.
There you go.
So that is 3 criticals and 1 other hit. So because the general came over a mountain, I get to ignore one of those hits as the natural defense of the mountain, and I can ignore the critical, but I still have to suffer 2 critical hits. So I lose both of these cavalries here. Now, my options are to counterattack or retreat. And once again, I don't see a lot of, I've only got 1 unit left. I'm not going to gain very much by counterattacking here. So I am going to retreat. I retreat to a friendly adjacent space, and I'm going back to Aleria.
That's okay. Sometimes, retreat is the right thing to do.
Yes. Now, combat continues because there's still the neutral enemy there. And so Tiberia rolls once again for the neutral enemy.
With a 4. Oh, sorry, 5.
5, yes.
All right, we'll see.
Okay.
2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoa.
7 hits, but no criticals.
Yeah.
So this unit remains alive to counterattack. There's only 1 unit, so it rolls only 1 die, and it does 1 hit. So that 1 hit defeats 1 of these units, and then those 7 hits well and truly defeat this unit.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's no other forces there, so that is the end of that combat. Now we resolve the second glyph here, which is the Vaala effect. So the Vaala effect does not involve Vaala cards for the AI. Instead, if able, spend 2 power and move the general to the focus region. Well, this player does not have 2 power yet, so that one is simply skipped.
Haha.
Okay.
Back to me.
Now it is your turn.
So I am doing 2 actions there. So the first one is I might move to adjacent region or region connected by sea. I will actually go. I'm going to try to bond with Tarrant. So I'm going to fly there. Hello, General. So this is actually connected by sea.
Yes, this is connected by sea, but dragons can fly over sea.
Mm-hmm.
And by virtue of an action ending with a dragon and a general in the same space, we now roll to see if we're dragon bonded.
Din, din, din.
So how this works...
like, woo!
So how this works is each of us rolls one of these combat dice, and if we both roll a hit, or at least a hit, then we become dragon bonded. Well, there we go, we're bonded.
Yay!
So normally we'd be able to spend power to re-roll to try to either make or avoid a dragon bonding from happening, but neither of us has power yet. So I think we need to join forces anyway.
Yeah, but the looks of it, they're winning, right?
Yes. So we become bonded, and we are bonded forever now. So there will be a card here which shows a dragon bonded power, but we don't have that in the prototype, so we've just got these versions here. Each of us now has a special ability.
What's yours, Tarrant?
I am bonded with you, and you are bonded with me.
Yay.
So once dragon bonded, I immediately gain 2 power.
Wow. So mine is, while dragon bonded, treat any hit rolled by Magnifics as a critical hit.
So as you can see, these dragon bond powers are very strong indeed. Now all of your hits are critical. You can just swoop in and
Just
wipe
destroy,
things out
yeah.
without chance of...
Hopefully we become more powerful force
Yes.
to be reckoned with.
And just for comparison, Fulgen's dragon bond power is no longer takes wounds when bonded. And Tiberia rolls combat and destroys power around the board. So
Wow. So it's definitely encouraged to be Dragonbond, as the title says, Dragonbond.
yes. You want to sit back and just sort of work out what's going to work best tactically for you.
Yeah.
But you definitely have some strength when you become bonded. So we're now bonded, and you also get to draw a Vaala card for your second glyph there. And there's your card back.
Thank you.
Okay, my next action is Arcane Harvest, and this is one of the actions for starting to gather power. So we've seen a lot of combat here, but this game is ultimately about spread and get power. So my Harvest power lets me collect power from each region that does not contain a dragon equal to the number of my units. unfortunately, my spread has not gone anywhere near like I hoped. I do get this power. I've got 2 units here, so I can take this 1 power. I got thoroughly beaten in combat here, so I've got nothing to grab from there, because remember I spread out there at the very start trying to get those 2 power. And there's no power here in Aleria to harvest. I could have harvested there if there were, even though there is technically a dragon present because it's your dragon and we're bonded together, so you're friendly. So that's all that happens on this. And then I can also now, I've got another Vaala effect, so I could draw a Vaala or I could spend a Vaala. And I'm going to spend. So here I've got this haste card. It costs 2. So I drain 2 of my powers. They still count towards winning, but I can't do any more effects with them. And I can move up to 4 units to adjacent friendly or empty regions. So what I'm going to do, there's not a lot of value being over here anymore. So I'm going to bring these 2 back over here. I've got a strong defensive force. They're all where my city is, so I can go and spread out. And I think I've got a good, unless someone comes in and wipes me out in one go, I think I've got a good launch pad here.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with
I'm
this.
right there as well anyway, so if they come here, maybe.
That's true.
And yeah, we've got 3 powers for the 15 requirements. We're winning now.
Yes, we are. We are 20% of the way there
What?
versus 10% and 0. Okay. Fulgen's action is to soar, move 1 region towards the focus, and then move another region towards the focus. Fulgen is already on the focus, and so if Fulgen does nothing, then instead gather or hoard, which is this effect, which is where you get power. So collect 1 power or 2 if it's empty. This region is empty, so Fulgen gets 2 power. So he's up to 3. He's now 30% of the way down. It also means that the focus is now shifted back to the Firewoods, because that's now the only one with two tokens in it.
Yeah.
Okay, now Tyveria harvests. Collect power from each region that does not contain a dragon, equal to the number of Tyverian units in that region. So there's 3 units here, including the general. So harvests those.
No, we're in trouble now.
There is 1 unit here, harvests that. So 3 power now to each of those, and much less power on the board.
All right, now let's do some combat, shall we?
Yes, your next effect is Wrath.
I'm going to move. Obviously, I'm not going to attack you, Tarrant.
Of course not. You actually can't now.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I'm going to move here and trying to attack the Tyveria force.
So now there are 3 units there, and you still have a combat value of 4.
Good thing I retreated.
And all of these are going to be critical hits.
Oh yes. Oh, this is fascinating. Well, only for 3. Only 3, unfortunately.
So those critical hits will kill these 2 units.
And yes, so I do collect them. And whenever I fill up 3, I get 1 power.
Yes.
And this goes away.
And then the 3rd hit is against the general itself. Now, when a general has to be wounded, you would instead remove a separate unit that is in that region. So it always pays for the generals to go with a lot of units. Because there aren't any, you get to steal 1 power from that general, and then the general has to retreat to an area that has a friendly unit.
Fantastic.
Like so. So we're now up to 5. They're on 3 and 2. So we're in a good position here.
Indeed.
Next, I've got Maneuver. So Maneuver for me is move 4 units to adjacent empty or friendly cities, regions, sorry. Or I can now go across the sea from here. And I think it's useful for me to go across the sea because I do want to be in a position to control a lot of regions and harvest some more power. So I'm going to head down here. That's 1. I'm going to head up to Isfal is 2. And then I feel like I want my general to stay and be safe. So I'm going to come in here with my 3rd movement with you. And the 4th one, as much as I'd love to go and sit on here, I might get attacked. So I'm just going to, I'm going to go like that.
Sure.
Okay. That's my maneuver. We've got Arcane Horde.
Harvest.
So move Fulgen 1 region towards the focus and collect 1 power or 2 if it's empty. So right now the focus is just the closest place to Fulgen that has a power, which is here. This is the only one, well, they all have 1 power. So he comes here, takes that one. Very simple. And then the Vaala effect. Heal 1 wound. So we haven't been wounding the dragons here. Then, if possible, spend 2 power. If 2 power is spent, roll a combat die and then deal that many hits to each force and dragon in a region adjacent to a mountain, which is a lot of us. So we roll 1 die and it's 1 hit. So each force adjacent to a mountain, which is these 4 here, and it actually includes Fulgen. So we're going to take 1 wound. My force is going to suffer 1 hit.
And 1 wound for me.
You will suffer 1 wound. This general will suffer 1 wound, or this general's unit. They are a combined force. The neutral does not count as a force, so the neutral still stays there. So that did a reasonable amount of damage. Fulgen's attack is now down to 3 dice. You're still on 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have maneuver. So the maneuver for Tyveria is create a Tyverian unit in every empty region adjacent to a Tyverian region. So this is how Tyveria spreads. These are the 2 Tyverian regions, but none of them are empty. This is the only... This one is empty, but it's not adjacent. So nothing gets created. Then we move the general to the Tyverian region closest to the focus region, which would be where it currently is. And if no units were placed, then place 3 units in the general's region. So these come back. Always able to recruit new units. Okay. Now it's Horde for you.
Yes. So I don't have anything I can hoard where I am. But collect, it says collect 1 power from my region. 0. Oh, hang on. Yes, 0.
Yes, no.
Collect an additional power from your region if it's empty. Doesn't make sense at the moment. Heal 1 wound or spend a power to heal 2. I would like to heal 1 wound, please.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, and that was where I passed. So now we've got another event. This one is not one of the events that puts power out on the board. This is called a Year of Turmoil.
Wow.
Place a neutral unit in each empty or neutral region.
Oh.
So 1 goes here, 1 goes here,
1 goes
here, here, and
over
here,
there.
and
That's...
here.
Yeah.
So a lot more units on the board, no new power. So those power, I think it might be a year to sit and consolidate rather than
it's actually
chase power.
probably pretty good for the dragons because, you know, these neutral units are not very hard to kill.
That's true.
So every 3 gets me 1 power.
And so with that, we set up for the next round. All of the unclaimed upgrades get shuffled back into the upgrade deck, and then another 6 are dealt out. So there'll always be 6 available at the start of the round. And again, these are only for the generals, because they only apply to the cardboard units on the board.
Yeah, I don't have it as dragon.
Yes. And then we make sure we all have all of our cards.
Yep.
We will shuffle the neutral cards so that they're ready to be randomly placed again. And I make sure I've got all the region cards that I'm owed. So I control Alleria. And there's Alleria. I control Isval. So I get that card. And the
Oh, no,
five
that's not you,
and
sorry.
the Firewoods.
Yeah, not you. It's the other generals.
So I get all of those cards into my hand.
Awesome.
And remember, these cards are my most effective ways of gaining new units. Those actions are bundled in with the Tiberian ones, but these are my ways of getting units. But there's no way I can play all of these cards because you will run out. You only have 6.
Yeah,
so I'll only
they'll
ever
stop.
get to play a max of 6.
Yeah, because once someone passes, that's control of kind of like the end. It's not like somebody else can keep going. Otherwise, it won't be balanced.
Correct. And then we would draw a new event. So the game will, if no one wins the game before then, the game will end after the 12 event cards are gone, which will be 6 rounds. And then you would program first. And we'll leave it there. And that's our pocket playthrough of Dragonbond Lords of Vaala. We hope you enjoyed this video.
Check out Dragonbond Lords of Vaala on Kickstarter. We'll put the link in the description below when it is live, so you can check it out. If you enjoyed this video or find it useful, please help us by hitting that like button and subscribe to the Dice Tower if you haven't already done so.
And if you have any questions, comments or feedback, please leave them in the comment section below.
See you next time.